we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
Come on in. Come on into the club.
Dude, I want to come into the club.
Do it correct.
No, so I want to get a handgun, a decent one, like 600 to 800.
Hit up our friend Alec. We've already talked about this.
We'll call Alec.
Alec's the man.
And I want to get concealed permit. I want to take training. I want to do all the right things to be the most responsible gun owner that I can be.
That's great, because there's really should only be one type of firearm owner, and that's a responsible firearm owner.
Yeah,
great.
Right? You know, I mean, we hosted Christmas Eve, and there was 6 adults, 5 kids. I took every single one, popped the mags out, opened the chambers, threw them in, you know, the storage area that I have. It locks. So you're locking your way out of it. Mm-hmm. Keys get hid, you're done, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just, you know, because we don't have kids at home, so I can leave them around the house strategically where I'd prefer them.
That's how I do it.
You know, if shit pops off. So, but then you have to be responsible enough. If anyone comes over, you have to walk through that process.
You do, and I always have to remind myself, okay, who's coming over, who's going to be around, because I keep my 9 on the bedside. I have my AR right in the living room on display.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a good display piece.
It always attracts someone's eye. Oh, what kind of gun is that over there? You know, so creates conversation, creates awareness to firearm safety as well.
I mean, just, you know, and I think maybe, you know, part of what we'll lean into in today's conversation, because we usually talk about my work, and I'm really glad to be here to not talk about work.
Yeah, we got we got Mike Pachan in here.
Yeehaw. Number 4, right?
We got
is
Mike.
This 4 or 5?
I don't know. I have
Pachan
to
is
count
back,
it.
baby.
Man.
It's been a bunch.
We're at it again, and I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited to have you.
I'm having a beer tonight because I'm not talking about
That's
work,
a first.
so I'm off the clock.
Yep.
I know, that's a first on the
time
cast,
ever.
man.
Yeah,
well, cheers to that, first of all.
Get to show
Cheers.
Get to show my politics off a little tonight because I'm not at work.
I'm loving the hoodie. Let's start there. Come and
grunt
take
style,
it.
grunt style.
And I wear a lot of their stuff too.
Yeah,
I have a Freedom
love their
shirt.
shit. Yeah, I have the "Don't Tread on Me" T-shirt on underneath too that I really like.
So you're like full America.
Yeah, I want
2A,
full
baby.
America. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Come and take it, man. I love it. You know,
but I think that is what you're going to see in 2022. I have a list of predictions. None of them are like bright and shiny and awesome, but from the tumble comes the gems, and part of the gem that I think you're going to see in 22, and I don't think it's going to be instantaneous, so I think you're going to see it walk into 23, 24, and then beyond. The next evolution of our country is more people leaning into the Bill of Rights and really appreciating what this country allows. So to see the amount of first-time firearm owners when I'm going to like my tactical pistol, tactical rifle classes is significant. And I love seeing that because people are going, wow. Right? Like, wow, we actually have a significant opportunity in this country as just an everyday Joe to really hold our own line. And a lot of that comes to two things that it comes from is 1, 2A. And 2A is a non-violent way to hold the line because it's like building up a big armament. And in the Cold War, no one wanted to use them. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't ever want to use my firearms, so it's actually a non-violent way to retain the rest of the Bill of Rights. And then 2, more people coming back and realizing that our rights come from God, and whether you're a person of faith or not, people are going to reconnect with that idea, because if you look at Germany, Austria, Australia, their rights are being taken away because their rights come from the government. And the government stepped in and said, no, you don't have a right to leave your home. You don't have a right to not put a medication into your body because their constitution comes direct from the government. So I'm excited about that portion of 2022. People are going to lean into America way more. You're going to see it.
And I think you're also going to see, because I agree with you, I think people are getting passionate about it. They're going, wait a second here, what are my rights? And I do have the right to keep and bear arms, and that shall not be infringed upon. Yep. I think you also have a large percentage of Americans that have a different narrative, a different motive, a different agenda, which is to completely go the opposite from that, and to restructure the Constitution and to get further away from that. So I can see both of those sides getting juicier as we move forward.
Yeah, and there's definitely, it's going to be Clash of the Titans from what I'm putting eyes on. And, being that I travel a lot for work, I've dedicated just the past 2 years plus in adjusting what I listen to and bringing in a lot of content. The side that wants to disrupt the Constitution is a minority. They just have bigger megaphones. So there's times where you think populace-wise, they have more quantity, but population-wise, majority of the country does not want drastic change in America.
So, I mean, if we're going 2022 stuff, and I see what you guys are saying, but I feel like it's bigger than just what's happening in America.
Yeah,
All right.
Right.
All right, and this is what I would this is what I want to put some focus on, is that with social media and how often people are, because you even mentioned just now that you've been focusing more on what you're feeding your brain with, and that's super important. It's so important to have cognitive ability of what substance you're digesting mentally, right? And with these apps like TikTok, which are China-based, and all this shit, like, our society is getting brainwashed trying to mimic these dances and all this stuff. Like, people are taking opinions personally all over the globe. And it's like, it's developing a weak mentality within people where you're like, that's one of my main concerns, I guess, is like the influence of social media and how it's deteriorating a positive consciousness. Like, it's deteriorating that. And these other countries are getting ramped up, and they are not, because, like, look, I was watching this whole thing last night, and the TikTok in China is nothing like TikTok in America. Like, it's like more building up, like, we have to be ready, we have to be vigilant. It's not people doing cat dances or TikTok
Talking
dances.
about
and
what umpteenth
yeah.
down the line gender they are, because they don't really have much other identity according to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that whole thing, like, be whatever you want to be. I can agree with that, but don't take people's opinions personally if they don't agree with you, because it's like me as a white heterosexual male, like, I'm judged and I'm put in this whole perception that, like, I'm the bad guy. But I agree that people could do whatever they want, and you could be whatever you want, but just don't take it personally if, like, it's hard for me to understand. Like, and somebody not understanding is not an insult. It's more like, that's just not who I am. Mm. So it's like, if you're going to sit here and take all that stuff personally, I don't know. There's a lot of concerns coming up here in 2022.
Yeah, no. So I like where you're going with it, and I would agree. I mean, China right now is pushing a lot of nationalism into their rhetoric. They've banned effeminate men on social media. They've banned certain language that we're using in the state. So they're taking a more masculine, nationalistic approach and pushing that through their channels. And that's the balance that you strike when you have a Bill of Rights and everyone has the freedom to say what they want. The mix-up that we're seeing in our country is the radicalization, the wokeism, the extremism, where ideology is becoming more important than reality to that minority of people. And I still think it's a minority of people. I just think they have a loud megaphone, and the shit they say is off the wall, so it gets a lot of attention. But I absolutely think that the majority of people see it, and they're like, this is just inappropriate. But when they disagree with it, they get hooted and hollered at, and it feels like a bigger movement than what it actually is. But, man, I think we're at the tip of the iceberg with technology, social media, and the impact that it's going to have on society.
Oh, my gosh.
I think that's an even longer battle and a longer
It's daunting.
run.
It's daunting.
Because it's, I mean, you're already seeing effects of it now. Wait until the metaverse rolls out. Wait until
Oh my
people are
gosh.
addicted to having those fucking goggles on.
It's coming, Mike.
Rather than flipping the phone.
I know,
I mean, it's
there.
here.
We're
It's
there.
here.
Yeah, look.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I hear, I mean, I listen to the War Room 3 times a day, right? Bannon. And I hear Joe Allen does a segment every day on transhumanism, and it's moving. And some people want it.
Some people want it,
Some
and
people want
they've
it.
been convinced to want it too.
They've
I feel
been
like.
convinced to want
To,
it, right?
well, here's the benefits of transhumanism, and
Wait, what is
Well, and
transhumanism?
so let's
I don't
get
know
to that in
saying.
a second, but let's round out what Art was saying. They're convinced they want it because they're unsure of who they are, and they don't have other ideologies or cornerstones or North Stars to lean into. So they get on TikTok and they're this, that, and the other. And then the next person goes, well, if I want to be radder than that, I have to be this, that, and the other, and this. And then the next person goes, okay, now I'm this, that, and the other, and this, and this, and this. And
Yeah.
the and then channel goes and goes. And when you have 12, 13, 14-year-old kids
Yeah.
that are hearing this shit, and they go, oh, look, I can latch onto an ideology that's not rooted in reality and run with it and get dopamine likes. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you? All the incentive is there for you to make up a fictitious reality and then live inside of it here rather than externally in reality.
It's so true.
it
Right?
is.
And when we say they, it's people that are being influenced by these social media norms and like the societal pressure to participate in social media.
Societal pressure,
and be a
yeah,
part of
huge.
a social media,
Right.
or else you're missing out. That's the they that like I feel like I'm trying to talk to in all this because we're all susceptible.
We are. It reminds me of the high school days when there was the cool kids. Before
Right.
social media, there was that group.
Yeah.
Where, oh, well, you're not cool enough to be in this group, right? And now that group has become, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, and the hashtags that go with it.
It's
and,
scaled
and
up.
trying to outdo the other person.
Yeah.
Well, so-and-so might be the valedictorian or the captain of the high school team, but I'm this, this, and this, and this on TikTok,
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
a problem. That's a problem.
Well, yeah, and I think it is because it's at scale, but then you just see how many layers of the onion people are trying to peel back, and the addiction, which, I mean, hey, I've been addicted too, and the thing with addicts is, like once you take that drug, like let's say you do cocaine. The first time you do cocaine, you get as high as you're ever going to get, and after that, you're always just trying to get back to that peak.
Chasing the dragon, baby.
Chasing it. These kids and the social media addicts and the social media mob, the woke mob, is getting a high, but then they're chasing it, so they have to peel that onion back more and more and more. I'm offended at this today, but then tomorrow I have to be offended at that, and then I have to be offended at this, and now I have to have this ideology that conflicts what I said yesterday, but I don't care because
Can I just go
peeling
off
this
on this a
onion
little bit?
back.
I got to go off
Yeah,
on this a
right?
little bit, all right? Because I'm feeling what you're talking about, Mike. And the biggest thing that I'm reading between your lines is that people are getting offended about other people's opinions, all right? And that in itself is anybody who's letting somebody else's opinion affect their emotions on that particular day are being weak, okay? You're not being true to yourself. Like if you're allowing somebody else's opinion to rattle and influence your emotions on that day, then you are obviously not standing solid on your own emotional foundation.
I would agree with that and take it to a level further and say that the weakness comes from inauthenticity. If you're a real leader and a real mover and shaker, you better be fucking ready to take some grenades and take some incoming rounds, because that's what it's all about. Show me one successful person, one, whether you agree with them or not, one successful person that had an easy route to success. It doesn't exist. So if you want to be flim flam flume, this, that, and the other, and all these wackadoo ideas, take the incoming rounds and take the heat and be proud of it, because if that's happening, you're making progress. But these people bail on it, get emotional, and say, no, that wasn't the point of me being weird or alternative or odd. You instantaneously have to agree with me or you're the bad person. And that's incorrect. The entire cannabis space has taken incoming heat for the past 12 to 15 years out here in Colorado, and then decades before, but we've all pushed through and persevered. There's people who spent time in jail. There's people like myself that can barely get a mortgage application, even though I make plenty of money to afford my home. That's incoming heat that we have to take to be a leader in that space. Nowadays, people are taught that weakness is okay, and all they have to do is be a crybaby, say they're offended, mash a button to get you thrown off Twattergram,
try to get,
and they're a winner,
try to
and they're
get
not.
one-
They're a
one big
loser.
company. Yeah.
They're a loser.
Try to get one big company on board.
That's what it is. It's put everyone into a box, and to break it down, I like to use sports analogies. It's like, there was a time where if you rooted for a different sports team, it was fun. It was fun
Right.
banter.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, fuck your team. Right. And it was like, okay, no hard. We're still going to get along.
Right.
Using that same analogy now, difference of opinions, I see it no differently than rooting for different sports teams. It's your beliefs, who you're getting behind. This is what I stand for. But because it doesn't check this box and dot this I and cross that T, you're an asshole, and that's how it's viewed. It's like, well, you believe that way? Fuck you. You need to get with the times.
Right.
It's like, well, what is the times then?
And I think that question, what is the times, has also been put up for discussion, which I don't like because. So to your sports analogy, let's say, I'm from Ohio, so I'll take the Browns, and who's your team?
New England Patriots,
Okay,
baby.
New England. So let's say we're playing on Sunday, and I don't watch sports, right? But hey, I'm going to get into this game with you and watch some sports, and we're going back and forth. The reality of the situation is that we're sitting on your couch, we're drinking beer, we're watching a television, we are watching football, and we are watching the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. We are rooted in reality in our discussions. You can say you have the best team, and I can say I do. That's a difference of opinion. The reality is the statistics will probably show one of us is right and one of us is wrong, and then we can split hairs and get into stuff that's immeasurable, like my team's been around longer or my colors are prettier. Either way, we're rooted in reality. What you're seeing today with social media and the woke mob is people are demanding that things that are not real are real. And they're putting their foot down and
things
saying
that are being created almost.
Right, we
Like,
can have two
on the
realities,
daily.
and there's not
Like, on
two
the daily.
realities. There's not. There's one reality.
Yes.
Right?
Look, this is a tricky conversation. This is walking a tightrope kind of conversation because, like, at one corner, I completely agree. Like, if somebody wants to, identify as a wolf or, become a female after they're born male or vice versa, like, I can respect that choice. I can respect that. But at the same time, the position and offense that is taken, if it's not understood, like what you said, they're the leaders of this movement. And if you are doing anything different in society, you're going to get backlash.
Take the heat.
Regardless.
Right.
Yes.
Take the heat.
So just take the heat. Stop being offended. Fucking own your shit.
Put in the
You
work.
know, the whole woke
and
movement
do it
is kind of
correctly.
bullshit, man.
And do it correctly,
Like, it
because
is.
this country's in the majority of people aren't going to slam on the brakes and just go, okay, right? There's like I brought up before. I mean, I have 2.5 pages of just news cycle today that's relevant to corporate media and people demanding that this stuff is real in reality, and it's not. And anyone who disagreed with this unreal fake narrative is a racist, bigot, xenophobe, this, that, and the other. And people are tired of it. And in 2022, you're going to see people begin to put their foot down nonviolently, and we're going to say, enough is enough. I'm not doing it. And a lot of people have already started that. I don't wear masks at all anymore. I've been thrown out of stores. My wife's been called names. We just don't care anymore. We don't care anymore, right? I had COVID. I called up a doctor and got on ivermectin and then told everyone I know about it because I don't care anymore. It's not horse paste. That's garbage. It was developed by a Nobel Prize winning physician. It works in massive, in countries around the world for massive group therapies from all kinds of illnesses. It's not rare to see drugs have multiple uses, off-label uses, and it's absolutely not rare to have outpatient therapy. So being told otherwise is someone living in a not reality, right? Because it's not. So if someone wants to chat with me in 2022, they can root their little ass in reality and have a conversation, or I'm going to do what I did several times this year, which is kick friends and relationships to the curb, and I'm going to piss some people off that are close to me. I did it over Thanksgiving with my family. It's not easy to deal with, and I love my family, but this is a year where people start to put their foot down because it's a glass house, and we've allowed it for too long, and we're seeing right through the window, and people are gonna go,
Well, I mean,
Is
I
it?
gotta give
Is
Kevin
it?
some room here in a sec. I'm gonna say this quickly. I got the vaccine. I got both doses. I quarantined. I've gotten COVID. Like, at this point, bro, it's fucking fear mongering and population control. I'm over it too, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this is always an interesting area to get into, of course, with a lot of people. There's a lot of passion behind it, for sure.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we're talking about tricky situations right now. We're talking.
No, but it's
about,
real.
This
Right,
is
and
all
it
real
is
shit.
real. We're having a conversation rooted in reality.
And
Yes.
Mike, I don't 100% agree with probably everything you say, but like, we can talk about everything in a respectful
That's
manner.
exactly
and,
it.
That's why we're here.
That's what
Yeah.
is missing. Is
Right.
like humanity will never fully agree on anything.
That's
no,
true.
and thank goodness for that.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
thank goodness
right.
for that. And that's why I love what we're doing right here, right now, getting around a table, discussing different ideas, opinions, predictions, and things of that nature. But because it's easy to sit here and get frustrated. I've been frustrated, with all the mask mandates and the potential vaccine mandates. Luckily, my company hasn't adhered to that, because I would probably take a strong position and consider different employment if they did. And some people think that's ridiculous, and that's fine. But that's my position. I think we've lost touch with the my body, my choice. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this again. I've said this many times, but it's true. What happened to the my body, my choice people? Where are you at? Where are you at? Not defending this.
That's peeling the onion back and jumping from one emotional issue to the next, because that like on Twitter book is more important to your reality, your inauthentic self, than holding the line and having a North Star. People want to be involved in everything, and you just can't.
Well, I mean, I got the vaccine because I strongly believed that it was going to help the comfortability of the peer group that I was constantly around, like the family members, all these things. And so, like, I was kind of susceptible to that, right? But and I don't think that the vaccine is a wrong thing to do. And I also believe that people have the right to not get the vaccine if they don't want to. And depending on the reasons, it could make a lot of logical sense. Like, Kevin and I have had a lot of conversations about vaccines, and I see completely eye to eye with Kevin's opinions and completely understand and respect where you come from on all this stuff. But how they're pushing it, right? Like, the fear mongering, like, is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the whole Biden administration, and we don't get political on here, like,
Until now.
We don't. But no, because it's fear mongering.
It is fear-mongering.
Like, coming out here and saying that, like, if you're vaccinated, have the best Christmas, jolly time. But if you're not vaccinated,
Get ready for
then-
suffering and death.
Yeah, suffering and
What
death.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, like, why?
Well,
How are you gonna say
and that's-
that?
Well,
How
it's
are you
a
gonna
bunch
say
of
that?
things, right? It's cultural Marxism, it's othering, it's coercion to taking medicine.
They're trying to fear people into
Right,
getting vaccines,
100%,
and
right.
like,
Because-
fear is a motivator, but it's a
Well,
horrible motivator.
It's a horrible motivator.
Yeah, so it's like-
it's abuse. It's you usually use fear in abusive conversations and abusive relationships. Again, what I've been doing and will continue to do in 2022 is I ask people questions and I bring things back to reality. Right. So if someone comes up to me and wants to get, hey, why are you in here? Without a mask on. I say, look, I'm not a cultural Marxist. I'm a capitalist. Here's how this works. Do you want my $7 and I'll take a sandwich off your shelf, or would you like me to spend the $7 somewhere else? And I make them make the decision. And they go, I don't want you in here. Great. You lost $7 today.
You lost business. Yeah.
Deal with it. And I go down the street and I spend the $7 there. Right?
Yeah.
It's a conversation that's rooted in reality, because that's how the system works as it sits. I'm not going to participate.
Well, I mean, and for businesses to be all fearful, and look, I understand the societal pressures. Like, we can keep that could be the pillar of this conversation is society puts pressure on the populace in order to try to control and influence decision making, and it's bullshit. Because look, this COVID's gonna run its course. It's not gonna disappear. It's here. It's not going anywhere. And either you're gonna get sick and lose your smell like I did and get the sniffles, or you could get sick and maybe die from it, or maybe you get the fever for a week. But either way, it's gonna run its course. Like, for all of us, humanity, to be afraid of something that isn't going anywhere, and to change who we are, how we interact with people we love and care about on a weekly, daily basis. Like that's the point where I'm over it, man. And I've taken a drastic change in the last 2 months after I've had COVID, and I'm starting to see this fear mongering more and more. Like,
So true. So true. And this thing ain't going anywhere, to echo off your point. Look, flu season, right? Every year, the flu's back. Get your flu shot. Get your flu shot. Get your flu shot. But it wasn't that big of a deal if you didn't. Nobody gave a shit, really.
Right.
And
they called it a shot, not a vaccine, too.
Correct.
Just, again,
And
rooting
that's-
us back into reality, because that's
a good
part of
point.
the conversation.
That's a good point to bring up, and I think that's
I put
also
that in my notebook
a good
today.
segue into that, because can you really vaccinate against a virus that mutates?
Right, and what we're taking isn't technically a vaccine. If we were all going to speak accurately, it's gene therapy outside of J&J. So it's not technically a vaccine. They did adjust the definition of what a vaccine is to fit the mRNA. That's another part of cultural Marxism that seeped into our society, is the adjustment of fixed words. So this year I challenge everyone, if anyone takes a word with a fixed meaning and adjusts it, call them out for it, because it's inappropriate. We have a fixed language so we can have fixed conversations in a fixed reality. So if someone wants to take a meaning of a word and move it, call them out for it.
so
very
it's like
important.
what you're
It's
talking about
important.
is trying to, like, the definition of things are changing to fit a narrative.
Yeah, so take
It's
the word
bullshit.
fascist, for example. Most people had never even used that word ever, let alone really even heard of it. We won't get political, but I will bring up the name Donald J. Trump. When Donald J. Trump was running in 2016, Wikipedia went in and adjusted the definition to fascist to include alt-right. Fascist and fascism isn't a right or left thing. It's an ideology. It's the way you act, whether you're on the right or the left. Historically, there's been left-wing fascists and right-wing fascists. Fascism is not left or right. They changed it because Google called Wikipedia and said, our big search result right now is fascism. Let's adjust the meaning of the word. And they did. And that's why a lot of people think fascist is a right-wing thing, and it's not. That's cultural Marxism. When Amy Coney Barrett was in her little hot seat and they were, interviewing her to bring her on as a justice, Merriam-Webster Dictionary went in and adjusted the definition of sexual preference in real time when she brought it up to answer a question that a Democrat lobbed her way. So if you went on to look, what does sexual preference mean? They adjusted it to conflict with what she said. That's cultural Marxism. That has to go.
It does.
It's a massive, massive challenge for anyone who's going to hear this podcast. Call people out for that shit.
Yeah, well, we're definitely
Fixed
on one.
Language is super important.
So I know our listeners are probably, a lot of them are screaming right now, and so I'm gonna ask the question that they're probably wanting to ask is, where did you get that information in regards to Amy Coney Barrett and then Google calling Wikipedia on that? Because I think that's a good thing to credit.
Yeah, so I watched the Amy Coney Barrett hearing in real time, and then I think it was a Glenn Beck podcast the next day notated that, and I went on and looked. You can find it. It's out there. And then if you look up the definition of fascist, Wikipedia comes up first. You can read the definition. Go to page 2, 3, or 4 on Google. I use DuckDuckGo. It's not the same definition at all. Go back to a dictionary wrote in the 1960s and look up fascist. It's not what Wikipedia has. It does not exist. Alt-right does not exist in
Wikipedia
that
is
definition.
not credible.
But that's the thing. In some people's fake reality, Wikipedia is credible.
Well, those people don't know what the fuck they're talking
But
about.
that is part of what we're dealing with in the next evolution and revolution in our country, and really globally. Some people even say the war on information is WW3, and we're in it right now
I can
because
agree with
some
that.
people are so addicted to. I would rather be wrong
like I was talking about-
99.9% of the time and right 0.1.
Sure.
But
Well, like I
some
was
people want to
talking
be
about
right 100% of the time, and
TikTok.
it just can't exist.
Yeah.
It's like I've said when we talk about CBD. What do I always say to you guys? If it works for everyone, it's a snake oil. That's why our products don't work for everyone, and we're proud of that. We're proud of a failure rate because it means it's real. If you're right all the time, you're an idiot. No one can be right all the time. Einstein wasn't right all the time, and he would notate that, and he was one of the smartest minds ever. Some of the smartest people ever are proud of not being right. People who are proud of being right all the time are not solid thinking people.
Yeah, and they're misguided too, right? I mean,
Right.
because they're obviously their mission is misguided,
Right.
Because it becomes more of an ego thing at that point, and more
And
of
an
a
ideology.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are getting swept up into it. You know, I mean, I wrote a note, you know, on like Juicy Smollett. Like when that story hit, think about where your mind had to be to get on social media and rip that story out. My mind goes to probability. Okay, so you're telling me what's the probability of two fair-skinned Nigerians? To me, a Nigerian is a dark person, heavy melatonin in their, or melatonin, right, in the skin. So now we have two light-skinned Nigerians. What's the probability of that? Not a whole lot. And they live in Chicago. Probability, probably not a whole lot. And they're out at 2:30 a.m. on one of the coldest nights on record. Probably not a high probability. And they have a bottle of bleach. Probably not a high probability. And they have a noose. So now we have two white Nigerians that live in Chicago hanging out at 2:30 a.m. in a freezing fucking cold environment where they were raised in a tropical environment with bleach and a noose, and they happen to be Trump supporters. I mean, pull some statistics out of thin air. What are you looking at? 0.000000001% probability, and they happen to cross paths with a movie star going to get Subway at the time. And
I haven't even heard about what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, this
people
has happened.
didn't
I haven't even heard
even
about this shit.
pause and think. They immediately start banging
Just going
out their
crazy.
message.
Saying hate crimes.
Racist, bigot, xenophobe, this, that, and the other. That stuff is a toxic mess.
It is.
And people are getting caught up to it now.
and it's
and that's going to be a massive change in our country in 2022.
We need it.
People
we need
are
it, Mike.
tired of it.
People are tired
Tired
of
of it.
And that's the whole judging a book by its cover thing and not reading
Yeah,
the context, right? Because so if Art's not familiar with the situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that the verdicts just came down, but the fact remains is it came out that Smollett paid these individuals to beat him up. He paid them to whip his ass to call it a hate crime.
Yes. He faked a hate crime. He's
And was
an
tried on
actor.
it.
He's black and gay. And he paid two of his buddies or guys he knows to beat him up on a street corner in Chicago so he could run inside his apartment, call the police, not only report a hate crime, but get on national news and scream how MAGA Trump supporters that are ultra racist beat him up, threw bleach on him, stuck a noose around his neck, and said it's MAGA country, bitch. And people latched onto this, and it ripped through social media like wildfire. How ridiculous, how piss poor of a mindset do you have to be in to bite that hook? And not just bite the hook, because then people come back and they go, oh, President Trump. Hey, he came out, someone shot the question at him. He said, I feel bad for the guy.
Right.
There were people on social media, this is real, this happens all the time. They rooted themselves in an unreality and made a fake, made up situation real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, like the majority of things that I see on the internet, the majority of things that I experience on the internet, I believe is satire. Like, you cannot take any of this shit to heart. Like, and it sucks that this is where we're at in society now, is where you can't trust barely anything. You got fucking corporations, and I truly believe this, that corporations call the shots around the globe. They fucking run shit. You know, all the corporations control policy. They control all this shit. I feel like anybody who's out there getting triggered over falsified information is fucking weak. You know, and
You're
look,
weak, and the facade is cracking
look,
right
look,
now.
and I'm
It's cracking.
probably the worst person and to say this out loud and be like, well, Arthur, you're so insensitive and blah blah blah, and you're not seeing it from this perspective. But the fact is that, like, I'm seeing it from a truthful perspective. Like, I know that a lot of this shit's weak, and I know that if you're reacting to negative information, then you don't have a mental foundation of strength. Because if you're constantly reacting to all this fear-mongering negative propaganda fucking bullshit.
Right.
Look, I mean,
I
could really go off on this, man. I could go off on it.
That facade is cracking right now. Other notes that I took today on points to talk about is exactly what you said. And even the corporatization and the globalism that has been running the show for 20, 30, 40 years, that's cracking right now too. CNN just came out and said masks don't work. Cloth masks don't work.
And I've been saying that for a while now, right? My description of it was...
Welcome to the party.
Yeah. I mean, how can you stop a mosquito through a chain link fence? I've used this a few times,
I think I've said
and
the
a
same
lot of
thing.
people have gotten very frustrated with
Right.
me when I say that.
Right. You have CDC finally announcing myocarditis from the vaccine is noticeable in kids 12 through 15. Fact. CDC came out and said the PCR tests are garbage, that the flu never disappeared. They popped hot, but they recorded them as a COVID test because we were testing for COVID, and the little tiny test doesn't say flu or COVID. It just says yes or no. You're going to start to see a massive cracking of this facade. And I think the weak people are going to have a really difficult year in 2022.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think part of our job is to send those people love and light.
Of course.
But also not back down from demanding that people swoop back in and reroute themselves in reality. So another practice that I've been working on, because I'm off social media, haven't gotten on since I left. So I'm probably coming on 1.5 to 2 years. But it's interesting to me. I ask myself all the time, what % overlap? Right? What % overlap? What % overlap of people, and then I take two things, right? Of people who go to yoga and say, I connect with, the universe in my breath and its peace and harmony, are the same people eating up the panic porn right now. What % of people who go to natural, grocery stores with organic food and supplements and preach this message of food makes you healthy are triple masked, right? Like, what % of people who say what they are and then you insert something there are actually doing this and you insert something there, and you're seeing this ideology of being liberal, and this is coming from someone who up until 2018 was a diehard classic liberal and still consider myself a classic liberal, although I don't vote blue anymore, who it wasn't about their actions, it was about a facade. And COVID, Trump, vaccines, like all these items that have been hyper politicized are breaking those people's facades down, in the triggering and all of it. It's got them all pent up and boiled over because they were never authentic to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some solid points there, and it's important to talk about. Going back to what you opened with, the facts that CNN are putting out. I mean, the fact that CNN is now coming out and saying cloth masks are not doing the job that we've all been told that they were supposed to do, and you got to wear 2 and 3 and all this other shit. When you break it down and you really look at it, what's going on here? What's the narrative? What we've learned is that fear works. It absolutely works. It can push people towards mass vaccination. It can push people towards mass acceptance of society. Look how excited people were when vaccines first came out. I got my card. Did you get yours?
Yep.
It was like a fucking popularity contest, which meant nothing. What did it mean? What did it mean? Sure, it got you into a concert.
I mean, look, I'm sitting here like I got the vaccine, and I'm actually questioning if it was the right thing for me to do. Like, and I'm not trying to push propaganda. I'm not trying to push modern science that it doesn't work, but I do want to push skepticism. Now, look, I'm not a flat earther. Like I don't go that far down the rabbit hole, but I do sit here and question a lot of things. Like, what's the motivation? Like, why is there no flu and stuff? Like, why this? And like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
and here's why I really wanted to come on tonight is this entire podcast is so wonderful because you guys get on here and you talk. So you just said, now I'm questioning myself if the vaccine works. How many times, and this isn't an I thing, but I've been a guest on this podcast, and we've gotten into the conversation about CBD or cannabis, and what do we talk about? What is your definition of work? And we unpack that because we're speaking to each other like rational, rooted in reality, human fucking beings, not seeped in ideology. The question corporate media was not asking, and the question the woke mob has not been asking is, what is the definition of work? Does the mask work? Well, what's the definition of work?
So out of
if
my
a
friend
cloth
group,
mask, if you expect a cloth mask to work, meaning the holes are this big and the virus is this big, then no, the mask doesn't work.
Right.
If you have an N95 mask and the hole is this big and the virus is this big, it works a little bit better. But again, going back to really hammering on people this year with words that they use, ask questions. Well, hey, all right, you're getting all upset. What does this word mean to you?
Yeah, and I was about to
Triggered.
say that. Like, what's your definition of success is a question I like to ask here. What's your definition of that? But here's the thing with what I was speaking about just prior is look, like, why I question it is because out of my friend group, which is a very small control group, right, 7 of us, 3 were not vaccinated. 3 of us got COVID. Of the 3, all of us had the vaccine. And I've heard that story so many times over. Like, look, I'm going to say some shit that is controversial, and I'm okay with that right now. I don't really care what people think, all right?
Here we go.
And here's what it is, man, is that the world's overpopulated, all right? And I don't believe in genocide or, like, Holocaust or concentration camps or any of that bullshit or slavery. I think all that's wrong. Human life is human life, but the world will find a way to balance shit out. And there will find a way. And honestly, there's too many people on this planet right now. There's too many people. And so it's like, this needs to happen in a certain extent. Like, this virus or whatever it needs to do needs to thin the herd. Because it's just like a fucking forest fire. It's just like that. Like, the trees could get overpopulated, and then a fire comes through, fucking cleanses the ground, and then all of a sudden you have this fertile land that helps grow lush and, like, keeps sustaining life. It's a cycle, right? And people just want to be so selfish and say, like, I need to exist. My life is important. Is it? Like, what are you doing with your life? Are you hanging out in front of the Black Mirror all day? Like, what are you doing? You know, like, what's important about your life? So like this whole fear-mongering shit, like, I've been vaccinated, I've gotten COVID. I feel like I'm over it too, man, and I'm kind of I'm pissed off and I'm done.
I'm not surprised to hear that you guys went 3 for 3 vaccinated to COVID. I just had another study pop up in my sphere. It's non-peer reviewed, but they're saying that the vaccines after 90 days are actually in a negative efficacy, which means you're 35 to 75% more likely to catch the Omicron if you're 90 days out from one of the 2 mRNA vaccines. And that I've really been keeping my eye on, because from a globalist standpoint, globalists are the world's elite who pull the purse strings and run the world and own the 150 corporations that own everything else. They constantly and openly talk about depopulation. Mm-hmm. It's not a conspiracy. They say it openly. You can type in Davos, World Economic Forum, Agenda 201. They talk about it all the time. So what did they don't care. I mean, if you look from a historic aspect, I think people have this idea that we're somehow like a refined people. We're not. We're not refined. In fact, there's more slaves right now in a snapshot at 6:45 on December 29th, year of our Lord 2020, right now, than there ever has been since the slave trade started. That's a fact. We're not refined people.
2021 or
2021, yeah.
Okay.
There's more Christians being persecuted and under genocide now than historically there ever has been. The wars take more lives than, like, we're not a refined people. So for folks to sit back and be like, oh, well, why would globalists want to take over the world? We're so refined. No. Historically, there's always been a group or a sect of people who've wanted to control the world. The Romans weren't just trying to, like, grab a landmass or 2. They wanted to take everything. Like, Germany in the 1930s and 40s wanted to take everything.
And
so to think that globalists don't want to take over control of the world is, kind of absurd. Now, not everyone is prepared to go down that rabbit hole and really accept it. Some people want their 80 years on the planet and then, get buried and zip off to the next thing. But we're seeing a consolidation of power right now through COVID, through social control, through vax mandates, through division of the country over really silly things like a mosquito flying through a chain link
Look,
fence.
it's a proxy war. Like keeping people distracted by the social media, what I'm talking about earlier, and in front of the black mirror all the fucking time, and you don't have any thoughts. You're afraid to be alone with your own thought process. Like
Right.
your
Yep.
attention span is boiled down to the goldfish level, and you can't. Look, I battled all day with this. All right, I'm gonna be honest, like, because I'm battling with the social media shit and like constantly the muscle memory of pulling up the apps and looking at it and doing the endless scroll. I've been battling with it heavy. I slipped up the last 2 weeks and I've been susceptible to it, and it's affected my energy and mood, and I'm recognizing that. And look, if all you do is try to adhere to social norms and fit the same cookie cutter agenda and fucking like check marks in life, then your life, it doesn't mean shit. Okay? Because you're just doing what other people are doing. Like, do something that speaks your individualism. You're just doing what everybody else does. And like, I'm getting amped up about this because it pisses
It's
me
like
off,
it's like
dude.
at this point, not having tattoos makes you way cooler than folks like myself that have tattoos, right? Because
Yeah, we're all tatted
didn't-
here.
You didn't fall into, so I think that's cool when people don't do, what seems popular at the time. But also, I think it's, again, trying to peel back that layer of the onion. Uniqueness at a certain point is saturated.
Yeah.
And you're all the same unique, right? Go to a concert, pick a musician out of any genre, whether it's jam or heavy metal or hip hop or EDM. There's 50,000 people there that think they're unique, and they all look like the same knucklehead next to them, which is fine. That's their community, but you're not unique. You're just part of that community, right? So chasing uniqueness can be a deficiency in itself, and sometimes just being yourself means you look or act or speak averagely. But if you have a passion about a thing, then you might actually end up being the most unique butterfly out there. But right now, again, I think with social media and the constant peeling the onion back, and I'm here today and I'm here tomorrow, people are even unsure of what they're trying to be unique about, and they're trying to be unique about everything.
They're just chasing fake dopamine.
And you can't be unique about everything.
It's true. It's true. And I think that the problem is that they're trying to be, right? They're trying to be, the popular kid in school, going back to my analogy earlier. And don't let your life be clumped into damn submission, coming from that motivational video we were listening to. Your life is your life. Make with it of you will. And echoing off your point, not everybody has to be unique and have this next great idea or be an innovator. Do something you're passionate about. Get behind it. Find a purpose, right? It's going to give you fulfillment and joy.
Well, and a lot of times, unique people aren't unique until they become successful. Otherwise, you would have never known them. Tony Robbins was a janitor at like 34. Nothing wrong with janitors. I understand how I just said that word. But the point is when you say Tony Robbins, you think of this.
Right.
He was this. He wasn't unique.
Sure.
He was just some dude sweeping floors in this, studio that we're in. People didn't walk by him and go, oh my God, I want to be him. They were like, it's a fucking janitor.
Right.
He had to work and struggle. And then once he popped, then everyone's like, oh my God, Tony Robbins. I want to emulate that. What do you want to emulate? And again, we've had these discussions before. Now we're just really applying them to present day. The toxicity of social media and the lie of social media is you're instantly unique and you don't have to work. You just have to act goofy and be as far out as you can for an instantaneous moment in time. That's not unique. That's a dopamine and a drug hit, and you're just going to be chasing it. Some of the most unique people that we look up to were never really considered unique. Success allows them to look unique.
That's a great perspective on it for sure. Because I was just thinking in my head too. Steve Harvey kind of talked about it. He goes, my kids just see me now. They just think I'm just this successful guy now. They don't know that I had to sleep in my car. They don't know I flunked out of college. They just see me now. And so to echo off that point, you're right. We look at these people like they have it all. How'd they do it? Well, you didn't know that they were a janitor or that they were busting a double shift at King Soopers to make ends meet. It takes fucking hard work. It takes those hard work, those failures, losing shit to
Not
get hungry,
being weak, being strong,
and never giving up.
Right,
Breaking the norm. Look, I feel like I feel like I'm an oddball, all right? And I know, and I see it on people's faces when I interact with people and, like, you know, strangers or, like, whatever. It's like I get this kind of, like...
But you own it.
Yeah, like I'm different, but that's the thing is, like, to fully accept your individuality, you have to come to the peace that not everybody's going to agree. And you know what? You do that unapologetically. And that's the thing is, like, when you're constantly on these social medias and you're chasing that fake dopamine shit like you're talking about, like that quick hit, like, and it's like, oh, that video got it for me, or like, man, I can't believe I had that many likes there. But it's like, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
what do the fucking internet points mean? What does all that
what does
mean?
it mean?
Like,
And you're also creating problems like, you know, I can do this all day, again, because I spend so much time in my car and I listen. The hysterics that people created when they said Trump said to drink bleach. First of all, he didn't say that. You can pull up the transcripts and root yourself in reality. What he was getting at is now being used globally to combat COVID-19. There's mouthwash and nasal spray regimens that you can do. The ADA recommends a molecule that essentially is fancy talk for diluted bleach. And if you have gingivitis, that's what your prescription is. It's essentially equivalent to diluted bleach.
I have it.
Yep. And then there's iodine diluted that you can put in your nose. Dr. McCullough and Dr. Malone, who McCullough is now the most downloaded podcast on Joe Rogan. Malone was just banned on Twitter because he's going on Rogan tomorrow, and they've been concentrated on outpatient early treatment. They're saying that if you have COVID in your nasal and you swab the diluted bleach and you put the shit up your nose, you reduce viral loads significantly. So had people not...
And I'm not recommending anybody do this.
No,
I'm
not at all. But what I'm saying is, had people not panicked and tried to find that next dopamine rush by jumping on the woke mob and deteriorating into hysterics and just rooted themselves in reality and asked, what does work mean? How can we all get through this together? You're talking this thing could have significantly changed the arc of history of what we just dealt with over the past 2 years. And every little tiny potential solution has just been thrown in the dirt and stomped on for the sake of ideology, not reality.
Well, and something that works for one person
And
won't
again,
work
we
for-
just didn't give
for all
medical
people.
advice there at all.
Yeah, and one thing that works
No,
for one
not at
person
all.
doesn't work for all people.
100%.
Just like, you know, opiates used to make me feel really, really good, and when Kevin would take them, it would make him feel really, really sick.
Vomit.
You know, so like I believe in holistic medicine, and I think there's a lot of value there, but it's all based on the individual, because like and I do trust modern science to an extent, but I also believe that, like everything, there's corruption there because there's a dollar sign
There's
attached
a dollar
to it.
sign, right?
That's
And
what
There's
it
a
comes
lot
back
of
to.
dollar
Money
signs.
is the issue.
So the other question that start to ask yourself in 2022 is this science or scientism?
I don't know what scientism is.
Yeah, scientism is a word that's being used to describe things like you have to wear a cloth mask outdoors to help Kevin not get COVID. That's scientism.
So it's
that's
like-
adherence to an ideology, most likely a political ideology, for the gain of the ideology, not the person or reality.
I believe in science.
Or scientism. That's
Science.
people have fallen into a trap of buying into
Scientism is
through
like
this whole
is like
thing.
and look,
Scientism is dangerous. Scientism is like in Monty Python, where they say, "Well, we have to burn her." Well, why? Or what is it in Monty Python? It's the duck, right? And if they throw the witch in the lake, and if she sinks, she's not a witch, but she'll drown, right? But then we know she's not a witch, but she'll be dead. But we'll know she's not a witch. It was like when they burn witches at the stake. Well, if they burn, they're not a witch. If they don't, they're a witch. That's scientism.
look,
It doesn't make
I'm
any
willing to
sense.
put it all on the line this episode. Okay, I don't care. All right, I'm going to say all the offensive things that people are going to get
All
pissed
of
off
them.
about. I don't fucking care. Like, look, coming up with the scientist bullshit is like saying that I'm fat phobic because I'm unattracted to somebody that's overweight. Okay, that's bullshit. Because here's the thing. Like with the whole fat phobic thing, as an example to be an analogy to what you're talking about, like I want to be with somebody that is healthy, treats themselves well, and cares about their longevity. So that makes me fat phobic. Like it's so stupid. And this whole Scientology bullshit. It's like you put all these icks and eulogies at the end of words and think that you're like, okay,
The isms.
It's bullshit. Okay, because the thing is, you've talked about it a couple times. People are creating this false reality because they're offended, because they are taking other
They're
people's
uncomfortable.
Well, and a lot of times
opinions
too, and
personally.
then the
It's
other
bullshit.
thing that I've made a habit out of is look at who's offended. Like when you looked at the Netflix and they were offended over Chappelle, the news and reliable journalists that I listen to, they took the people at the head of that protest and started flipping their Twitter from 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years ago. And they were saying worse things, way more offensive, way more direct, and way more derogatory than Chappelle ever said.
Absolutely.
But yet there they are out front being
hypocrisy.
offended. So this idea that
hypocrisy.
being offended means that you're in the right or you have a place to be on that soapbox is incorrect. And again, it's another thing to continue to focus on in 2022 is we beat this thing back because it's not real, it's un-American, and it just doesn't have a place in our country. This stuff is garbage.
It is.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
garbage. It's cultural Marxism. It's wokeism. It's garbage. It's a minority of people, and the majority of Americans are tired of it, and they want their country back. They want their lives back. They're just sick and tired of all this junk, right? Like it's getting to a point, and that's fine. The pendulum is swung. It's going to hit an apex, and it's going to come roaring on back. And then what you're going to have is it swing way over to the other side too far. In 100 years, someone else will have to deal with it. But right now, it's for us to make sure it hits that apex and comes back and self-corrects, and that this march towards cultural Marxism and globalism doesn't pull through. Because, I mean, to your point where you were talking about people doing things just sort of out of fear to belong, Greece banned music today. They banned music. You can't go
What
see
kind of
music over COVID now. You
Oh,
can't
like,
go to a
like
bar
concerts,
and see music.
all concerts.
Live
Music.
entertainment.
That's that's scientism. That's scientism.
That's people trying to create this fear, which will control a population, and then
Yeah.
control what you do, how you spend your life. Look, my life is a flash in the fucking pan,
Right.
in
Yeah,
the
it
in the
is.
big picture of all this shit. And you think I'm gonna fucking let the rest of my life get ruined over this man-made, more than likely man-made created virus? All right, this fear-mongering bullshit. I'm
That's
sick of
stuff.
it.
That's stuff.
I'm sick of it, dude. I'm fired up.
And you know when it really hit me was when I was still in the grocery biz, because here's what pissed me off the most about it. And when I started to really see the writing on the wall and smell the chum in the water was, okay, we're gonna limit the amount of people that can go to these stores. You know, small businesses that are non-essential have to close. But wait a second, what's essential? You and your buddies can pile in your car and we can pack King Soopers, Lowe's, Home Depot, Kroger, Walmart to the fucking brim. You can pile in there, no problem. Come on in, buy all of our shit during this pandemic. But mom and pop that owns a little shop on the side street that maybe also sells some provisions or survival tools, they can't be open.
Corporate grab.
Right, and that's scientism.
That's when to me I realized there's something bigger going on here.
Yeah, that's absolutely scientism. That's a great example of scientism, and it was quick, right? Big shift in wealth and wealth distribution. Most of those companies won't come back. Now you could see the argument that that similar to the forest fire analogy, at a certain point you have to get rid of small businesses so more can come about.
Flourish, yeah.
But
No, but you
that's
gotta get
also
rid of the big businesses.
But it's also forcing an unnatural cycle. It's like voluntarily collapsing the economy for an ideological purpose. Like the economy will go through cycles, and that's actually on my prediction list. I think we're going to see a pretty big correction early on in 22. But those are corrections that come and go. But that forceability based on ideology is another example of scientism and something for people to keep their eyes on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always good to be aware of what's coming and to be prepared for anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen next, Mike? You know, what we learned in the last 2 years, because who's kidding who? When this thing first hit, we were all scared. I mean, we didn't know what was going on.
Right. Yeah,
We took
absolutely.
our precautions.
Yeah, I mean, you hear airborne virus. Well, and hell, we thought it was on the surfaces too. We were wiping our groceries down.
I
So
was.
It's not like I wasn't
Yeah.
affected by it. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you wipe the mail down? I had no
I
idea
was.
how that shit spread. And you also heard 3% case fatality rate. That's
true.
That's significant. 3% is huge.
Massive.
Yeah, especially, Ebola is way higher, but it doesn't spread as much.
Right.
So there's a balance of, how transmissible it is and then how virulent it is. And 3% is pretty virulent.
Oh, yeah, that's a massive swing for sure. I
But
mean, that
where
would
were
get
you
them
going
panicked.
with that? So when it first started, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember when it first, because I was in the grocery biz, so I was literally seeing the toilet paper fly off the shelves. I was there live action, seeing it develop, seeing the panic of people, seeing the fear and feeling their energy coming in. And I felt it too. I mean, we shut down the podcast for a couple months out of precautions. Until we really got our hands on what was going on, we didn't know, right? Because we were pumped full of all this information, we didn't know what was what and how serious this thing was. Who's kidding who? And then as time went on and you started to peel back the layers and start to see the misinformation, and then, it's okay. You got to isolate for 14 days, no 10 days, no back to 14, no 5. No one knows what's going on. You got Fauci up there. He doesn't know what's what. You got the White House press secretary. She's carrying a sheet up to the board every day that's a mess.
Right.
That's been proven. People have taken screenshots of that. All the facts in there are wrong. CDC saying one thing, World Health Organization saying another, and then we have the press secretary saying this.
Yep.
Who do you believe anymore?
Right. And that's it, is you have to believe, you have to believe in yourself. You have to root yourself in reality. You have to come back, inside yourself and just go, whoa, am I doing this because it's a North Star, or am I doing this because I want people to see me as this thing? And I think you're going to see a lot of those facades crack, and you can't hide the truth, right? I mean, there was a tennis star today. I can't pronounce his name. He's French. The article I read said today was his 250th positive COVID test, because they have to test so much because he's on tour. He's saying he's popped positive for COVID 250 times.
That's insanity.
How does that even happen?
How does that even happen?
How does that even
And I don't know
happen?
if you caught the Joe Rogan podcast with Dr. Peter.
Oh, yeah.
Epic.
Oh,
I mean, a lot of information
fantastic.
there. Because Joe actually, he's like, well, I had a buddy that tested positive twice, right?
Right, and he said,
then he elaborated
right.
on how that's not really
Yeah.
a real thing.
Right.
And he went into a lot of real shit in there, man. I shared it with the group, and I just thought it was an interesting perspective, because here's a guy that actually testified in front of Congress on the COVID panel before
Right.
the vaccines were out.
Yep.
And then goes on to elaborate on some of this information that I think is pretty interesting to consider.
Yeah.
The fact that we already knew that I don't know if it was Pfizer or Moderna. I want to say it was those two that were already working on a coronavirus vaccine in
2015.
I was
I mean,
gonna say 17.
Corona existed before.
Right. We saw it on the back of Lysol cans for years.
Right.
Coronavirus says kills coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
That term became big in 2020, early
Yeah.
2020. But the fact remains they were already preparing for a vaccine for this thing. Well, that in itself, I think, is alarming, because, sure, we're always going to develop technology and vaccinations and mRNAs, things of that nature. But the timing of it, I thought, was interesting.
Yeah, and keep your eye on globalism in 2022, because that's really what you're seeing, is either a push for or a dissolving of globalism. And again, all that is no, you think Napoleon would have turned down social media and big pharma money? No, he would have rode that little boat around and conquered the whole damn world. You're seeing an opportunity for globalists, warmongers, fearmongers, powermongers consolidating, which they've always tried to do from a historic perspective. There's never been a time on this planet where people haven't been hungry enough to try and take over the world, even if they saw the world as a small speck because they were just unaware that there was more land mass. Whatever land mass they thought was, all of it, they've always been trying to do it. Right now, you're seeing it in real freaking time.
So the
Real time.
one piece of fear mongering that I would like to promote is the fact that, like we mentioned, the information war, the personal information war, the technology war, the social media war, technology war. America is behind the ball on that for a while, for over 8 years. I feel like, with Russia meddling with bots, with China completely dumbing our society with TikTok, like, that is what should be a main concern. That's a main concern, is because if the entire American population is constantly fighting each other and disagreeing with each other, and that's a proxy war. That's a fucking that's a disruption war.
100%.
And they are winning. They're winning. And we are at war with America. Americans are at war with Americans. And that's bullshit.
And again, just bringing up the historic perspective, I mean, look what happened in the Cold War. You were constantly, spies on both sides going over there, whispering in people's ears, trying to create rumors and getting stuff into newspapers. Yeah. And now you're just seeing it on an instantaneous global scale through social media.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's super crazy. And I would agree that we're absolutely losing. Because, part of being a free people and free society, and, again, I know someone in the comments could drill down 50 times how we're not. I get that. But from just sort of a broad stroke perspective, we're a somewhat free society comes risks, and we're in one of those risks, which is somewhat we can still say anything we want. But now that's even looping back around. And you're seeing folks go,
you can't say anything traditional now.
I know you can't say anything traditional.
It's ridiculous.
And it's for the safety of people. And again, this idea of safetyism is just another ism.
Mike, all these isms, I'm so sick of this shit.
Everybody's tired of them.
It's
just a small portion of the population that's latching onto these isms. And all they are is ideologues. They're ideologues. This shit doesn't even make sense.
Well, just
and as soon as it does, they jump ship to the next ism.
I mean,
right?
for the American population, I'm looking right at the camera for this one. Like, it's time. It's time to take our lives back. Because here's the thing, is like, I was struggling with this heavy today in the last 2 weeks where, like, I keep pulling on my phone. I keep going for the endless fucking scroll, and I'm like, I know there's nothing there. There's nothing here for me. It's all bullshit. But here's the thing is, like, I am actually fighting myself on that. Are you fighting yourself on that? Are you fighting yourself to fucking stop it with the screens? That's the challenge for the week, is really be honest with yourself. Do you control your screen time, or does the screen time control you? Because that's the fucking problem.
Yeah,
that's
it
the problem,
is.
Dude. People are numb. They don't have thoughts for themselves. They're trying to emulate other people. And it's just creating this.
So let's swing
society.
that into your question of what's transhumanism. Keep your eye on transhumanism, because that's going to be massive coming this year and moving forward. Transhumanism is essentially singularity, which is where man and machine are going to officially merge.
We already are that, to a certain extent.
So technically there's cyborgs right now, and the definition of a cyborg is the folks with the chips planted in their hands. In Sweden, they're rolling that out. There's like 10,000, and then I think there's 50 to 100,000 worldwide. And the chip is your credit card, your vaccine status, your bank, a couple small things. And then there's another cyborg in the UK who has an implant that allows him to not be colorblind anymore. And he went to board a plane, and they said, so I think it's his ID, you couldn't have it on, so he had to get his official identification known as a cyborg so that his official identification can have that little implant on it. Transhumanism is a big push because it does several things. It'll be coached is an opportunity for like Elon Musk to put a Neuralink in someone's brain and allow them to walk again. Okay, great. But now what do we see? The same cycle we've seen with all this other shit where it starts off is an emotional battle. Well, wouldn't you want the blind to see, and wouldn't you want folks, paraplegic, quadriplegic, to use their limbs again? And of course you go, yeah, because you don't want to be, an a-hole, so you lean into the emotional trap, but then it accelerates super fast, right? And we can all look at through this discussion we just had, how many of these traps have been laid starting with emotion. Well, don't you just want those two people to do that? Yeah, in the privacy of their own home, but now it becomes a mainstream and it's infectious, right? Transhumanism is going to become infectious quick. It's why Facebook changed to Meta. It's what the metaverse is all about. Transhumanism.
The whole thing is evil. It's all evil.
Transhumanism is has the potential to really sweep the population up quickly because you think you're addicted to your phone right now. Imagine putting those goggles on and you could be surrounded by anything you want. And your physical and spiritual limitations on this earth is a human being no longer exist, and you can be anything you want in the metaverse, have any pleasures you want, any identity that you want. So instantaneous gratification as long as you're stuck in that metaverse. And transhumanism is bringing technology into humanity,
Shit's fucked.
over a constant basis, not just staring at your phone.
That shit is fucked.
Yeah, that's a great rundown of transhumanism. I know my brother, I'm going to recommend he listens to this episode because he talks about it a lot. And I didn't really understand exactly what all that meant, but it does make sense when you tie that together. That's what we're headed. Some people call it the mark of the beast. I've heard it called that. But the fact remains, when you mix AI with humans, I mean, that in itself is the layman term of transhumanism, right? We now have artificial intelligence and a human being together.
Yep.
Neuralink. Elon Musk killing it, of course. And the emotional aspect that you touched on, I think, is a good point because everyone will feel that. Well, what do you mean you don't want the blind to see again,
right,
or the deaf to hear, or people to walk? That's where you touch on people. When you touch somebody emotionally, and you can, that's when they're a little bit easily more convincible or manipulated into believing and subscribing to the notion that this is the best path to move forward.
Yeah, and you're seeing technocrats start to push technology as the next god made by man, and they're even saying that they can and will create an AI system that's smarter than the human brain, therefore it is God. So you're seeing a lot of folks aren't religious, which is fine. I'm semi-religious. And the thing about human beings, and I've heard this said several times by very professional, well thought out people, so I'm regurgitating it, is human beings have a natural tendency to believe in something, therefore religion, right? So let's say that's religion light, not going into cultural Marxism and moving the definition of religion around, but religion, a belief in something, a faith in something. If you take out a belief in God, you just don't have a vacuum there because nature doesn't allow vacuum. You fill that hole where God was with something, whether it's political ideology, drugs, sex, sexuality, something fills that hole. So the goal with transhumanism is, because you're seeing a reduction in religion and religious practices, is to fill that vacuum with technology, technocracy, and transhumanism.
Pretty intense.
This is a lot of deep shit we've been talking about, and I know that we've touched on a lot of controversial things, and I've said some opinions on here that I 100% stand by. Like, I'm willing to take it all on, because here's the thing, man, is like, I'm not willing to bow down and fucking meet these social norms in order to be accepted. Like, I don't need your fucking acceptance. I don't need your permission. I don't need any of that. Because here's the thing, like, my life is going by quick, just like most of ours, right? Like, 20 was not that long ago, and I'm 34. That's a good chunk of years right there, and that shit flew by. So, like, it's not going to slow down, and this shit ain't going to affect me. That's the thing, is like if you want to plug into the metaverse and you want to, like, complain about people's opinions, and that's the type of person that you want to be, that's the kind of mark you want to leave on this world, then so be it. Be that person. But you're not going to affect people like me, like Kevin, like I know, like Mike too. Like we're going to stand up, bro. Like, and it doesn't matter. Like, even if you're trans, like, and you're leading that, I believe in you. Do that. Like be what you want to be. But, like, be certain about it, and don't let other people's opinions affect you like that. Because here's the thing, and this is my main point, is like, life is supposed to be a struggle. It's not easy. From birth, everything, we fight gravity our whole lives to fucking stand. The entire existence is not meant to be, but it does exist. And so like we are within this realm of beautiful life and radiance and energy and like love and like it's all there, but not on a screen. You're never going to find any of that fulfillment on a screen. And that's really what I have to get to. That's my root for all
or
this.
through ideology, right? I mean, ideology is you add in the social media, you add in rampant hyper ideology, man. That you're on a pathway of addiction, and addiction just does not make people happy.
It's true.
Come back to yourself. Come back to some traditions. Tradition is not a bad word, right? Come back into your own, and don't make your path my problem. Don't. Because my path isn't your problem.
That's the hashtag of the episode right there. Your path is not my problem.
Don't make your path my problem.
And I think that also goes
because I don't care. I
Right.
don't, and I don't have to care.
And why
I don't.
should we, right? I mean, everybody has their own path to walk, right? We're all in this together, so to speak. Everyone's got their own path to walk in this life. So, if that path for me is wanting to make a fundamental change or have a certain ideology, that's me, right? But I'm not going to drag down the people around me because of it and expect them to bow down to me. That's ridiculous to think
Right.
that because I believe something, Mike, that I think that, you're not a NASCAR fan. I'm just not going to say this.
Yeah.
I'm offended because
Right.
you don't want to watch NASCAR with me, and that's unacceptable.
I know. And I can't watch NASCAR because you have rubber tires on those cars, and boo-hoo, it caused an issue 50 steps down the line that I'm not connected to, but I'm connected to it now, so I'm offended by petroleum-based rubber tires.
There you go.
Who the fuck cares?
And that's
Who cares?
It sounds silly, but that really sums up what we're dealing with.
Yep.
Now. It really is. I
Yep.
mean,
and you have to call people out for it. Like I say, I've lost 2 really solid friendships because I spoke up and I said, if you want to communicate with me, do so in an adult manner, but I do not communicate in wokeism. Conversations shut down. Fucking deal with it. Not my problem. Because I asked the important question of show me. Show me. If this person is an idiot, bigot, xenophobe, stupid, poopy head, I said, hey, show me. Because I like that person. I pay attention to him every day. So show me how I'm wasting my time. I don't have to justify myself. So you're not rooted in reality and you're just slandering this person? That's woke. You should grow up and be more accountable for what you're saying. I don't have to take this conversation. You walked into it. It's not my conversation anymore. It's yours. It's your path that you're on. I'm going to step off of it. I just don't talk to those people anymore.
So I
not
mean,
a big deal.
fair.
Like
not a big deal.
Like I'm gonna try to encapsulate this, all right, in a humane way, like, and I'm gonna bring it to the table here, like Mike, I don't agree with some of the people that you've mentioned and podcasts that you listen to, like I don't like those people, like and I don't necessarily listen to all their opinions all the way through all the time. The things that I have heard may have been very skewed and one-sided, so like I'm looking at it from that perspective that, like, even though I feel how I feel, like I might not be 100% justified, but the fact is that I am still going to respect you. You're saying things that still hold value, that can help me develop myself, bring myself out of my own thought process to, maybe I am being a little too opinionated on my own opinions, and I'm not hearing other opinions. Because I know I don't agree with you on a bunch of things.
Listen to how you
like,
just said that, right? You said, I'm just not a big fan of those people. No problem. Hey, you're not. I'm not a big fan of NASCAR. I don't really watch sports, right? But I don't have to sit there and say, I hate sports because it's matriarchal and masculinity and blah, 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 blah. Just say you don't like fucking football,
and
right?
and
Like,
that's
just
what
say
I'm
you
getting
just
to.
say,
Yeah.
just say, I don't really like Steve Bannon, man. He's just not my cup of tea. No problem. Hey, what don't you like about him? I don't like the way he pronounces words. That's qualified, right? You've just said something that you can attach reality to. Yeah, and I don't have to say, yeah, I understand he does say that, because I don't have to, like, even Steven the conversation. That's one thing. if you say, I don't like this person because, and you have this list of junk that's not even rooted in reality, and it's slander, and it's fictitious, and it's made up, and it's a lie. Remember we used to use that word in the 90s, lie and liar, and nobody has the fucking balls to say that word anymore?
Liar, liar.
Then that's what, not you as a person, but that's what you are. You're a fucking liar. And if you're a liar, get called a liar. If you don't like something or someone, just say, I'm not a big fan. But nowadays, people are trained to list this big hyperbolic statement or statements that it's not rooted in reality. That is cultural Marxism.
Well, okay. The point that I'm trying to get across is like, I don't agree with all of everything that necessarily you stand for, and honestly, like, we could have a very great conversation and see some level ground. And that's what I feel like is missing is like, just because there's a different opinion on the table doesn't mean that you can't have respect for that person and that you can't find a common ground and even agree to disagree. Because here's the thing is like, if you're getting overly offended about other people's opinions, I know this is like the 4th time I've said this on this podcast, but it's the truth, man, because you're a good person, Mike. I might not agree with everything you agree with. I might not like all the people you like, but I know for a fact that you're a good human being. Like, I can sense that. And so I'm not going to sit here and judge you over your personal preferences, because I'm not the type of person that is so weak on my pedestal that your opinion is going to falter my day or energy. And that is the problem that I really want to focus on. Regardless of your opinion, regardless of your stance and how it might differentiate from somebody else's, if you are allowing your day to change and be influenced because somebody thinks differently, that's weak.
Yeah.
That's just weak.
Totally.
Because you should be able to stand on your opinion with absolute, like you are. Like, if you're truly true about what you do and what you, then, and honestly, like, there's always give and take, too. Like, you said this earlier. Everybody is wrong sometimes, right? So you can't always just be on one all the time. So anyone who thinks that they always have the correct answer, you're full of bullshit. And so it's like we're dealing with all these things where difference of opinions is highly offensive and cancel culture.
Let me jump in
It's just,
real quick.
Yeah,
right there
no,
and
please.
Pick on that
please.
word opinion, because part of the issue is the definition of opinion has also changed and morphed. And where, you and I maybe, hey, I think it's great that some people don't own firearms. I don't understand why you wouldn't, because they're super fun. And people globally would die to own a firearm, and people globally do die to own firearms. But your opinion to not own a firearm because they can be dangerous and I have a kid in the house is rooted in reality. The word opinion has gone through the cultural Marxist ringer, and now opinion, which normally held a sense of reality, the Patriots are better than the Browns. No way, the Browns are better than the Patriots. Now you can interject fake into opinion and stomp your feet around and say, well, that's my opinion too. But we've gotten to a point where opinion doesn't hold reality in conversations. And not everyone, but there's people who are interjecting fake into opinion. And again, that's where I've really started to draw the line to show those people that let's have conversations and have differing opinions, because we're different people and that's fun. And I love my friends who have opinions, but opinion is they have different realities. They have different ways about a reality there, because we all live in the same reality. So this sort of like concept of opinion has been morphed to a point where some folks have weaponized it and they interject fake, woke nonsense into opinion and then demand that opinion has to come out on the table.
Yes, so it's not
and to
opinion.
me, the table is there for reality?
It's
Does
not
that make
opinion-
sense? It's hard.
It's
hard to unpack.
offendedism.
Yeah, offendedism.
Yeah,
Right.
And,
yeah.
so I've said this once before, and
That's how people
I'm gonna
get
say it
spun
again.
up. Is they'll get upset because they're like, well, that's different than my opinion, but their opinion is not rooted in reality. So they're not really even in the conversation. So of course you're upset. It's a hard thing for me to unpack right now, but it's
difficult. Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those juicy topics, too, because I can kind of see where both of you guys are coming from because there's the opinion side of it. You know, we try to listen to everybody. Everybody has an equal voice, right?
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
But then you also battle with, well, wait a second. What you're saying right now is not really scraping the surface of reality because now you're living in somewhat of a false reality, which can also be, you know, perspective reality. It starts to get into this weird paradox.
Right, yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, you know, respect is the bottom line, but at the same time, it's also respect is earned, not given. So if I'm going to be chastised and judged because I'm a NASCAR fan or I'm not going to get vaccinated, then I should also have that same sort of power to say, well, wait a second here. I think you're being ridiculous and you're not rooted in reality. I think it's a two-way street here, and it's become closed off into, well, you're not driving down the one-way street. You know, you're driving down the avenue over here. That's the road's closed. You know, and I don't think that's my mind trying to get my grips on what's going on here is the river flows a couple different ways. There's
Right.
different roads that we can
Yes.
take, you know, but the fact remains we're all moving forward.
Right. The
You know?
river is reality. And there's a reality made up of different thoughts, different approaches, different opinions, different ways to skin the cat. But now there's a small section of minority of people who've left the river are way over in something else that just isn't reality and demanding that opinion be interjected into the river, into reality. And I'm drawing the line. And I have been, and I'm going to continue to in 2022 because it's not real.
I'm drawing a line here too, man. Look, if you are in America, you are an American citizen. All right, you live in this country. You identify as American citizen. It's time for all of us to come together, like all Americans, difference in opinion or not. Like, let's all come together and show some love for one another. Show some respect. Like Kevin said, it all starts with respect. Because here's the thing: is like the big picture is America looks fucking weak right now.
Totally
we're the
weak.
biggest. We are the biggest superpower in the entire world. But right now, we look so fucking weak because we're bitching and complaining about each other about gender. Like, be whatever you want. Whatever. Who cares? Who cares if somebody disagrees? Who cares? If we all have respect in our hearts, dude, look, our country is getting weaker right now. Like, we're leaving 2021. We're going into 2022. It's going to be ferocious, all right? Just like it's been, all right? I don't expect this thing to calm down. We in
Not
the
at
jungle.
all. I think we're in the eye of the storm.
We're in the
man.
jungle.
Coming into the next wall.
Yeah, we all need to respect each other. Like, it's time for America as a whole to come together and stop being so divided over all this bullshit. Look, any of y'all who are extremists on any facet, you're out of line. You need to fucking sit here and really evaluate and respect others, because just because you have an opinion doesn't make that the only opinion. Like, I have my opinions, but I listen to Mike, I listen to Kevin, and my opinions have changed on some things because I am not an old dog. I can learn new tricks. Are you a dog that can learn new tricks? You know, these are the things that I want to talk to America about, because when we're getting divided by TikTok and all this fucking social media and all this proxy war division bullshit that we're not even aware of, social media, dog, like, that's really what I want to drill at the end of this episode. That's what I want to drive home, is that all of us, regardless of our differences, can still respect each other and unite underneath the fucking Star-Spangled Banner, the fucking 50 states and the stripes. Like, this country changed the world. It did. And now we're sitting here bickering with each other. It's fucking weak. Like,
It is weak.
And
It's
we're better than that.
un-American.
We're better than that.
It's weak and it's un-American, and you know, there's an advantage to having your feelings hurt, and to getting, if you're in a fight, you're in the fight, you know, and being accountable and not an activist, and I've said this on other episodes too, man, being accountable for what you think you are or know you are, that North Star you're chasing, is a lot more difficult than being an activist with a 2-sentence post and mashing your keyboard around and hooting and hollering and slapping a fucking bumper sticker on your car. If you want to be accountable for what you say you are, man, welcome to the jungle. It's going to be a long, crazy ride. April's 12 years in on helping to legalize cannabis. Where are we at? It ain't federal yet. It ain't coming no time soon. We're still in a slog. We got 20 years to go. 12 years.
Accountable.
12 years accountable.
I love that word. I love that word.
Something.
That's the word of the week.
True,
is accountable. We should all know what that means. And
accountability will hold you in reality. So, I email the governor, the secretary of state, and all the state legislature 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 times a week. I have since I got on social media because I still wanted a voice. So I went to email. I have 3 state legislatures who have all emailed me back and said, I love your emails. And then all three of them have also called me directly and said, I just had to meet you over the phone. I just can't believe, you're very well thought out and edgy all at the same time. And then one of the 3 had me down to the Capitol, and I sat in his office with him, and we chatted about essentially how we can take, worlds and collide them for the sake of the country. And like, what does that even look like? He don't smoke weed. He don't really even care for weed, but he votes for weed because some of his constituents are in the industry. And he tells him, I don't really like this stuff. And I said, great. I'm glad you don't like it. But it don't hurt my feelings. Right? It's an opinion, and it's rooted in reality because it ain't for everyone, and not everyone's going to like it. What do I care? That doesn't slow me down. That doesn't slow our industry down. All it does is leave space for someone else to come in and do something great in the industry. Getting told no or getting a rejection is the biggest gap of opportunity God, the universe, the stars aligning can possibly give you ever. And people are rejecting that in the what % overlap that we talked about. What % overlap of people who say, oh, the universe and all this stuff and all interacts and da-da-da, get offended when the universe shuts a door on them and they're too blindsided by not living in reality to go open the fucking door next to them. People have shrunk their worldview down to a no being the end of the world. I've been told no how many times this week, and all it does is open up more doors.
So true, man. That's something we talk about all the time on here. You got to be susceptible to being told no. That's a part of it.
Greatest gift ever.
Not everyone's going to agree with you. Not everyone's going to accept that whatever it is you're offering. Being told no, that's fantastic. That creates new opportunities.
Best thing ever. People tried to tell the automobile no for 20 years. People tried to tell petroleum no. Petroleum has lifted more people out of poverty than almost anything else globally, right? Think about how many things people were told no. How many times did the Wright brothers hear no? They changed the world.
Oh, yeah. You can't fly a plane.
How many times did they crash that motherfucker before they had the right design?
Right.
And that's the thing. Like all this like instant satisfaction, gratitude, and all that shit from the dopamine that people receive from doing TikToks or fucking IG or whatever, like, you have to fail to success. There's no easy route. I'm sorry. Like, we all want to be internet stars. We all want to be YouTube
Easy
channel
money.
fucking
Easy
stars.
money. We all want mailbox money.
It doesn't fucking happen.
No.
It doesn't happen.
Because those people are grinding
exist.
too.
It does not exist.
They're grinding too.
Look, and all these people being so offended, like I've said, you need to get real with yourself and figure out who the fuck you are and stop letting other people's opinions offend you. Because you are allowing other people to dictate your energy, your emotions, and your probability of success.
And if you were really that thing you say you are, that would only drive you to continue to be what you say you are. Otherwise, you're just showing everyone that you're fake and it's not rooted in reality.
It's true.
So true, man. It's time to get hungry about something. when you get hungry for something, you go out there and you fucking work.
No, you work.
You know, when you get behind something you're passionate about, not some bullshit trying to play a role on IG or TikTok, you get hungry about something, making a difference, starting a business, whatever the case may be, you know, innovation, whatever the hell gets you out of bed in the morning, that's what you need to be focused on.
Yep.
That's what you need to be focused on, and that's what's going to bring you a sense of fulfillment and joy. That's the name of the game in this life. Forget about this bullshit and what your neighbor thinks of you or how many likes you got on Instagram. This shit, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, and the more you think of that, the more you live inside your head and the more the ego is driving your life. And half the time, nobody cares. And secondly, if you're putting on that big of an aesthetic showcase, people are going to look at you and scoff a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Because you're
that
fake.
They see it.
because you're fake,
You're
right?
fake.
Yeah,
And you can
100%.
see it.
And you know what? Who even
These
cares?
people.
I go home, I keep my hair up, and a lot of times I'll wear long sleeves when I'm at home because I know my aunts and uncles just don't really care for tattoos because it's just not something they're surrounded by or immersed by. I don't care. And I know when I have, short sleeves on, I might catch a look or two. There's all love there. It's just something they're just not accustomed to. It doesn't bother me at all. Why should it? Because I'm rooted in reality and I'm comfortable with myself. It's all good, man.
And it comes
yeah.
back
All
to
good.
owning it.
Owning it.
You got to own yourself.
Actually own yourself.
Yeah.
Truly own it, not just own it for the sake of the hashtag, right?
Right.
Because I think that's also something that people get caught up in. Well, let me catch that cool trendy hashtag so I can be a part of the fun. No,
Right.
but do you really believe that? Are you really standing behind the shit that you're putting out there? You know, I think that all three of us can truly say in here that we stand behind everything that we've said tonight.
Yeah,
you know, we owned it.
100%. Yeah, you just got to own it. And people need to just, again, have conversations, have real conversations, and, man, just start driving the point back home that, we're a massive group of people. We live in reality. Our reality in this country is a mixed group of people. That's why we live in this country. Another thing I've heard several times on podcasts, and I have to kind of dig in and do more of my own research, I'm being told that as far as multicultural, multi-ethnic countries, they don't really exist globally because usually it doesn't really work. And America is a testament that it can work, but it takes struggle, it takes hard work, and you're going to have bumps and bruises along the way. This is not an easy country to live in because it's so diverse, because it's such a melting pot, because it's so mixed and mashed. You have a lot of opinions smashing into each other. You have a lot of differing pushes and pulls, but that's the beauty of the country, is that it actually works. And by work, my definition for work is you're going to have a statistical probability of certain amount of bumps and bruises along the way. But at the end of every year, I think we show a net positive every year. And I think you could line that out from a statistical perspective and show a net positive gain every single year in this country. And that's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, here's the big picture, everybody. I support everybody. Look, like if you want to be a different gender, if you want to identify as whatever you want to identify, like I support you. Like chase happiness, like chase happiness, like you need it yesterday. Like let's all do that. Like I had to do that for myself. I had to cut people out of my life. I had to do things different. But if you are in a position where you have a voice and you're hating on other people, you're taking other people's opinions personally, and you're pushing negativity and bitching about shit, then get the fuck out of here. Because the fact of the matter is that you can pursue whatever you want. Like, I support that. I completely support that. But if you're sitting here bitching about things that other people are saying and like constantly complaining, then that's a fucking waste of energy. It doesn't matter if you're a white, straight, heterosexual male like me, or you were a male and now you're transgendered to a woman, or you are a woman, now you're transgendered to a man, or maybe you're a furry, or maybe whatever you are. Just fucking be true to that and stop bitching about everybody else. Like, that's what bothers me, all right, is the constant complaining. Like, there's no room for that if you're actually about what you're about. There's no room for complaining because you're too busy demonstrating. All right? That's what I had. I'm wrapping
Yeah,
That's
I
my
like
thought
that.
process.
Yep, that's. I'll end on be accountable. Take the activism, throw it in the garbage can. Be accountable, because accountability will create more actions down the line than what you see as activism. Activism is flash in the pan BS. Be accountable, and just know that every step of the way is not meant for human consumption. That's one of my biggest reasons I got off social media. Was one, it was a spiritual request from my spiritual mentor. Two, I was tired of other people's negativity. And three, I came to the realization that every single step along my journey is not meant for human consumption. Tithing is a religious practice. You give 10% of your income out. And a rule of tithing is if you talk about tithing, the karma never comes back around to you. You cancel the karma out. So it's sort of like Fight Club. If you talk about tithing, tithing doesn't exist. So if you talk about your activism, doesn't exist. Be accountable and know that not every millisecond of that path needs exposed. It does not have to be content. And then you'll find more authentic nature about your path. It'll be less fake.
Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Yeah. Piggybacking off the authenticity, I think that is also something that we need to reiterate, and being authentic. I know we've touched on that a couple times, and just staying true to ourselves and the things that we believe, and being able to sit around a table and be confident and open with the things that you truly want to discuss, and be able to bounce ideas off of each other, or maybe say, hey, have you looked at it this way or that way? We've lost touch with that a little bit. We've kind of got this natural barrier in our minds now because of the society norms that, oh, well, we can't touch that because somebody might get offended, or we might get a bad review or whatever. That is not going to be proactive. That's not going to be innovative moving forward. If we continue to adapt and to, cater and coddle the weak and the offended, I feel like that's going to negatively impact where we're going. And it's really going to damper the innovation and the progression of the American spirit, mind, and soul. We have to stay true to what we believe in. We have to. We got to stand our ground, of course. Whether that's 2A, 1A, whatever the hell you believe in, stay passionate, stay authentic with it. Don't lose that authenticity. I felt myself even doing the podcast and being the public light, like, well, I'm not going to touch on fuck that.
I broke all those rules tonight.
That throw that to the wayside,
fuck
man.
that.
Because if we're going to be real, and if we're going to sit here every fucking week and be true, then do it. Then let's do it. We're not, and whatever comes of it, so be it. But I think the fact remains, putting that authenticity out there, encouraging people to remain themselves and honest and not cater to this bullshit. If you're truly upset about something or you don't agree with someone, don't be afraid to have that conversation, man. We've stepped back with that. I mean, I like the fact you said you had these tough conversations over the holidays, and maybe even brandished, some family ties there with that. And sometimes going all the way, you lose family members along the way. That's what you believe in, Mike. You're passionate. This is me. This is who I am, and you own it. And I like to think that I subscribe to that same mentality, and I'm going to put my foot down for what I believe, regardless of what my listeners and viewers have to say about it. People are going to give negative feedback, and I'm glad, because it's getting them thinking, and it's getting them, making noise, because noise is better than no noise, in my opinion. So the fact remains is, just be you, man. Just be you, and let's not get too far away from what's, traditions, like you said. Bringing that back. That's not a bad thing to have traditions. We're in a position now where everyone wants to break the traditional norms and let's start something new. Well, wait a second. This has been working fine. This has worked for a long time. Capitalism, the cream will rise to the top. Why are we trying to crush that? And I'm okay with innovation and I'm okay to new ideas. But I think when things are working and have been in place for a long time and have yield success, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's not shit on these small businesses. Let's not shit on ideas that have worked. Again, I'm okay with bringing new ideas to the table. I think it's important to innovate. But let's also not forget where we came from.
That's it. Yep, 100%. I think 2022, I think we're in the tumbler, man. We're some rough gems tumbling around. I don't expect an easy year. I don't want an easy year. I'm on the roller coaster, hands are up, screaming and yelling, enjoying the ride. I'm going to even vomit on myself halfway through this year. Who
Love
cares?
It. Love the
Who
analogy.
cares? In it to win it all year. I'm going to hold the fucking line, and we're going to come out all right. But boy, it's historic time to be alive, and I'm blessed to be part of this insanity and process. I'm so excited for it.
I am too, man. I'm ready. I am ready for whatever is next.
Yep.
I think it's time. Let's just be ready. You can never be too prepared. It's never too late to have these conversations, and let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely. All the listeners, man, I appreciate every single one of you, and regardless of what your opinions are, there's love in my heart for you, all right? But for all the naysayers, all the people out there that just want to spread hate, propaganda, and talk bullshit instead of talking value, that's weak sauce. That's not the type of sauce I spice my food with. And I gotta say that, like, this is the time for all you real motherfuckers like me, like all you real motherfuckers who actually stand by your beliefs and don't get pissed off about other people's opinions. Fuck other people's opinions. It doesn't matter what other people think. It really doesn't. It doesn't. So if you're going to sit here and talk about that all day long, and that's your central focus, then you're fucked. You're weak. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I love everybody. We're closing out this year strong. 2021 was a fucking battleground. I made big moves this year. I battled myself daily. And I'm going to continue. I expect anybody who's a real one out there to fucking keep fighting and not be fucking fake and not be so... Look, if like someone says something you don't agree with and you get so offended, you're weak. That's how I feel. Like, that's weak. So like, let's be stronger. Let's be a stronger, united America. We need America to come together. There's different people in this country, like you were saying. Like, it's the melting pot. But it's okay for us to be different. It's okay for us to be different. We don't all have to be the same. We don't all have to have the same opinion. But we have to unite through respect. This shit's real. This shit is real right now. And other countries are fucking preying on our downfall.
It's up to us, man.
It's time. It's time to fucking stop this internal war of America. Like, let's fucking be real. Let's fucking make shit happen. Let's stop looking at our screens for fucking satisfaction. Let's spend some time in our own minds and deal with the boredom of our own thoughts. Because honestly, you're just afraid to fucking face the truth in your own head. That's the thing. Like, I had to face the truth. I had to fucking face devils, dog. I fought every single fucking day to become better me. And if you're not doing that, then you are being a wussy. Fucking get after it. Get after yourself. Stop taking other people's opinions personally. Mike, thank you so much. Because honestly, dude, the realness that you brought to this room, it got me riled up tonight. I really got riled. And I appreciate that.
Good. I love it. I love it. And it's been a good conversation rooted in reality. I think we've given everyone a call to action on a macro and micro scale. And let's shoot another one here. Q1, Q2 of 22.
I'm in.
See where we at.
I think this was a great way to close 2021 for sure, because we opened it with Mike Pachan, and we're
did.
closing it with Mike Pachan. Always bringing great energy to the
in two
cast,
different
man.
fashions, too.
Two very different fashions.
The year needed closed out like this.
I think so, man.
We all needed to challenge ourselves and
Yeah.
move it around a bit.
And it can't always be rainbows and butterflies, like I said last week. Sometimes we got to talk about the real shit, and that's what I love about this podcast. That's what I love about people like Mike Pachan, not afraid to come in here and talk real shit. And this was a powerful fucking close to 2021, man. So stoked to be rolling into 22, seeing the challenge that are ahead. I'm ready. I am ready for whatever we got coming, man. I am fucking ready.
Pumped.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys for having me on. I always appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for taking time to cruise down here. I know you got a long drive home, so we'll get you out of here
100%.
soon.
Love you, Mike.
Love you guys.
Love
You're the man.
all the listeners out there. Even if I ruffled your feathers tonight.
Yeah, we ruffled
we
some
got
feathers.
love. We got love.
It's being real, though, That's what it's about, people. Take it into consideration. Get in touch with it, really. And I know this is probably one of the most serious apps we've ever had. And what a great guest to spend it with was Pachan. We knew this was going to be a spicy one, and it sure as hell was.
Spice it up.
It was a spicy tamale, and I fucking love it. 2021, we're done. We're ripping into 2022.
Wow.
Let's go.
Let's go. Be good to yourselves. Happy New Year. Let's
You
go.
deserve the best. Mike, we love you, man.